Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So welcome to 22nd Disappearance ceremony for Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Gurudev. So we will start with a short class Tamal Krishna Maharaj gave, and he's talking about how he's missing Srila Prabhupada. So you will hear that, and Ramapad Maharaj will be here. So after that we will hear His Holiness Ramapad Swami Maharaj.
We try to understand God's desire by hearing from the Guru. Does the spiritual master give our prayers? Because the spirit, who is the spiritual master? He's the representative of Lord Nityananda. That means that he is possessed of, or that he is a possession of Nityananda Prabhu or Nityananda Prabhu's mercy or energy. So Nityananda is God, Balaram, Shakti. The energy of Nityananda, Balaram, the energy of God, is there at every moment. So when you offer prayer, that Nityananda, the potency of Nityananda, is actively working to take your prayer, to hear your prayer, and to reciprocate with your prayer. I'm not, and in the position of Guru, I'm not just me. Because I'm nothing. I'm just an ordinary conditioned soul. But as Guru, I'm not an ordinary conditioned soul. Because by the grace of Nityananda, by the grace of Balaram, my abilities and potencies to act for you as your Guru become extraordinary. But on my own, they're ordinary. So I cannot do anything except for the fact that Nityananda and Balaram are acting through me. And in regard to being a Guru and hearing your prayers, by their grace, everything is heard. I'm the Guru in the sense that I'm the external manifestation of the Super Soul. And Guru is not simply a physical body sitting in front of you. The Guru is the whole heart. Guru is Krishna. And by the arrangement of Balaram, your Guru will hear your prayers. You just can't restrict and limit the Guru only to the physical person sitting in front of you. Because it's much more than that. Because this physical person sitting in front of you, one day won't be there. Just like Prabhupada's physical person sitting in front of us, it's no longer there. But Prabhupada's still there. We learn to serve Krishna by serving our Guru. And therefore to say, Yasya Prashada Bhagavad Prashada, Yasya Prashada Bhagatir Toti. By the mercy of the Guru, one gets the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace or blessings of the spiritual master, no one can make any advancement. So we hold on to our memories. But memories are something which have to be translated in a certain way. They have to bring us out of the stage of internal meditation onto the platform of practical activity. Unless one can simply meditate within, which is possible, but it's a very advanced stage. So to relieve the feelings of separation, we do activities. And this pacifies us, satisfies us. By serving the Guru, not only are we relieved of the intense feeling of separation, whatever we feel, but the separation, and or let's say our attachment to the Guru, increases or grows. My experience when I first joined the Krishna consciousness movement is that Prabhupada was with us for some time. He'd come to the temple, and then he would leave, and we would sort of go into a different state, a different mode. You know, maybe it wasn't like it wasn't, and maybe it was not like the gopis mode, but we went into a different state. We would start to remember the instructions, the order of our Guru. Because this is one of the primary sources of connection between the Guru and the disciple. The instructions the disciple receives. And if the disciple does receive instructions, he or she is certainly fortunate. Srila Prabhupada writes that everyone has general instructions, and some are fortunate enough to get particular detailed instructions. So by carrying out the order of the Guru, we feel a connection. But actually, we are not united. We are serving in separation. We take shelter of the spiritual master in the form of his deity. You have a deity of Prabhupada. You may not have a deity of your Guru, but you have pictures, photographs. And we know that by the grace of Sri Baladev, the Guru's presence can be there even in a photograph. Or any item from the Guru is sacred, and the Guru's presence can be felt in all of these. But more than anything, we feel connected by the service, by instructions, by getting association with those who are close to and near to and dear to the Guru. We get Guru's association. So this is one way that we can get an association of Guru, through those who are near and dear. They get it. They give the Guru's mercy. So when Prabhupada disappeared, then we have to pray. Pray this deity form, we pray in so many different ways. But really it is very difficult to search for the instructions of one's Guru after his departure. It's very difficult. And we always have to try to have it confirmed. Am I pleasing my Guru? How can I know if I'm pleasing my Guru? When Prabhupada would finally come after a long separation, it's like coming out of a dream. We felt as if we were coming out of a dream. And one day we may again be with Prabhupada, and again it will feel as if suddenly, we were dreaming the whole time, and this is reality. So I can't say how you're feeling. Now I can't say because I'm not you. Now I'm in the position to you as a Guru. But I know for myself, when I was with Prabhupada, it was like coming out of a dream. And now we just live in that dream because Prabhupada is not physically present. So we have to live constantly in a dream and wait for that moment. I did ask Prabhupada how he felt. And he told me that he never for a moment felt himself separate from his Guru Maharaj. From that we can understand that he saw his Guru Maharaj constantly because of his absorption and service to his Guru Maharaj. So we come back finally on that point that the ultimate way of connecting is through service. And that's really what Krishna's message to the gopis was, ultimately. The gopis were told by Krishna, there's no way that I can repay you for the service that you have rendered. Therefore I say, I pray that you please be satisfied by the service itself. So I also feel that to those who are here, who have served so faithfully their spiritual master, there's no way really that I can do anything to repay all that you have done. I can only pray that somehow you feel satisfied by the service that you have done, by the feelings of separation. I pray that you have made advancement towards the final goal of Krishna Prema.
Krishna. Now we will hear from His Holiness Prabhupada Swami Maharaj. Maharaj also has a seminar going at the Bhakti Farm, so Maharaj has to leave also. Thank you for coming, Maharaj.
Leave it to me, I went to the wrong place. Thought I'd be in the temple room, but here we are. Namo Vishnapadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschyatyate Satarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Once before I was in Texas, and I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was Dallas, and the event was the appearance day of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And one of the things I remember about that experience, hearing the devotees expressing their appreciation and their exchanges with, etc., Tamal Krishna Maharaj, there was an outstanding phrase that I heard almost everybody speak. And then he gave me the sauce. Apparently it's like a Texas phrase. And then he gave me the sauce. And then different expressions of how he gave the sauce. I had mine. I think I was thinking to follow. And there's so many things to say. Maybe I'll end with the sauce at the end. Just some appreciation. Over the course of many years, I served under Tamal Krishna Maharaj. During one period of time, he was GBC in New York, and I was in New York, and I served under him as GBC. He was the GBC. And during another period of time, I served under him with the Radha Damodar. I wasn't part of the bus party, but I was part of the airport party, and he was the authority, along with Tripurari Maharaj, as the airport party. I was under his authority. And then, not exactly authority, but we taught together maybe 5 times in Vrindavan at the BIAG. And one of the things I remember about that experience at the BIAG, many of you know, the place where he was residing when he was in Vrindavan. It was the place that was, my understanding is, it was a place that was owned by Abhiram, and he was Abhiram's guest, and he stayed very close to the temple. And one of the activities that he was always leader, so one of the activities was observing Ekadasi twice during that month, the VIAG month. And there was a practice that he would host devotees. It was kind of like an invitation-only kind of function, because the place wasn't so big. But we had extended japa and kirtan, and then the practice at that time that he was kind of, he was always leader of was staying up all night. And one of the things we did all night was Tamal Krishna selected a topic that he thought would be a nice topic to discuss. And then we discussed the topic together. And I remember one time the topic was, is it true or not that a guru accepts, when he gives initiation to a disciple, the guru accepts the karma of the disciple? That was the topic. He chose the topic. We discussed back and forth, and it was kind of clear as the discussion was going on, but his view was, and his view wasn't shared by everybody, but it prevailed for sure. And his view was no. Because I started visiting China in 2010 and been visiting since. Naturally, my appreciation for the role that he played in China, and practically speaking, whenever there was Mission Impossible, Prabhupada turned to Tamal Krishna Maharaj for Mission Impossible, and he started and fulfilled Mission Impossible again and again and again. And as here in Texas, just for your edification, there's a strong feeling of affection and appreciation for Tamal Krishna Maharaj here in Texas. And there's a similar, even to this day, strong affection for Tamal Krishna Maharaj amongst the Chinese devotees, many who became his disciple. But his imprint is there even today. So, his cross generations and cross geographic territories, his influence has always been, and still is, in certain ways at least, that of a leader and a, kind of a one-of-a-kind personality type. I imagine an astrologer would, if they were to do his astrology chart, they go, wow. Because it's very powerful, very, very powerful. Always in a leading role. And he would sometimes, I observed, he would sometimes do a course correction, and when he would do a course correction, he'd be as firm in the course correction as he was before he did the course correction. He's just strong personality. And I went to the temple instead of Guranga Hall. That's another reason I'm late. And I remember in the Guranga Hall, my one experience, I'll share 3 of them with you, where he gave me the sauce. One of them was right here in this room. So one year, there was a North American leadership meeting, and Houston Temple was the host of the meeting. And everything was done very nicely because Tamal Krishna was in charge. And one time we were having lunch together, and he took the opportunity to give me the sauce. He said, I heard, the tone, I heard that one of the temples in North America that was listed as at risk is Chicago. He didn't ask, is it true or anything like that. He just said, when I was there, then described what was like when he was there. And when he was there, it was fantastic. And now it's at risk. And then he said, he was right. The way he said it was, not the way most people would say it, but he said, you spend as much time as you need to spend to make that place come alive again, and if you can't do it, get out of the way and let somebody else do it. during lunch. And, you know, I didn't like the way he said it, but I knew what he said was right, and so I did what he said because he was right, not just because he was Mr. Heavy. He gave me the sauce, but he was right. And another memorable moment was he was GBC in New York, and New York was hosting its first Rath Yatra, and the person to build the Rath Yatra carts was Jayananda with his team. And Jayananda was committed to building the Rath Yatra carts without a budget, because he just had a way of getting people to give him things. Including, you know, the place, well actually it was Tosan Krishna that arranged the place without the detail, but there was a part of Manhattan that was undeveloped at that time. It was a train yard. And so in the train yard, there were railroad ties. And he built the cart with railroad ties. Big, heavy, giant, and the wheels, and this and that. And so the service that I was given was to see, along with other things, to see that the Jayananda and his crew that built the carts had prasadam. And, you know, I had high regard, as everyone had, high regard for Jayananda because he's a saint. So after the Rath Yatra, a couple of days after the Rath Yatra, distinctly remember, I'm standing in the hallway. There's Jayananda with a couple of his men having a conversation with Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj was getting angry. And then he saw me coming. And he motioned me to come over and gave me the sauce and said, I heard from Jayananda that you didn't supply enough prasadam. And I don't remember the rest of what he said. I kind of blanked out because it wasn't true, but don't tell Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you don't know what you're talking about. And, you know, I understood something wasn't right. Jayananda wasn't very happy. And that's not good. So I didn't do my service right because the person I was trying to serve wasn't very happy. But, you know, he gave me the sauce. It's not like I shrugged my shoulders, but, you know, a lesson when you have some service where you're assigned to help an important individual who's doing some great sacrifice of service, do your best. And it may not be good enough, but you do your best anyway. And be ready for Tamal Krishna Maharaj to give you the sauce if you didn't do it properly. Just and telling that story, my mind is going blank. There were two more. At the same time, my understanding was, when he was doing like that, it wasn't cruel. That wasn't his nature. His nature was very affectionate. But he had a way of expressing, training devotees that were working with him or under him in a very, very firm way. Now, I don't know what his exchanges with Srila Prabhupada were like. Maybe Prabhupada interacted with him in that way, and so he was following Prabhupada's example. I don't know, because I wasn't there for those exchanges. But that was one of his, he had other kinds, but that was one of his training modalities, was being very strong, being very clear, being very explicit what his expectations were. And, you know, putting your feet on the coals and asking you to don't say ouch, just walk on the hot coals. So he was a good leader and a good friend. I understood from other exchanges, his affection was very dramatic, expressed in a dramatic way. I'll give one more example. From before I even became a devotee, I had an interaction of reading Back to Godhead magazine that had Bhaktisiddhanta as the feature article. The Bhagavad is ontology and morphology, was the title of his little essay. And I read it, and it did, details to the side. It had a profound impact of taking me through just reading what he wrote. It took 3 hours to read the article, to another place. So I had this high regard, and many things happen. So when Tamal Krishna was preparing a manuscript for rendering Sri Brahma Samhita in his own manner, I was very interested. So he taught it twice. He taught it once in Mayapur. I sat there for the entire session, that number of sessions, 20-something sessions. And then he taught it again in Vrindavan. I attended one in Vrindavan. And so it was like double ecstatic because it was Bhaktisiddhanta's writing, who I already had high regard. And Tamal Krishna was speaking in the way Tamal Krishna was capable of taking a topic and developing a topic and researching it threadbare and presenting it in the way that... So he was just kind of reading his manuscript and then embellishing with explanations. And subsequently, I listened to both the Vrindavan and the Mayapur seminars 10 times each, because I have a liking, profound liking for Bhaktisiddhanta, and I found, because there were other lecturers on the topic, but I especially liked the thoroughness of his presentation and etc., his way of communicating an important message. So I feel as many of Prabhupada's disciples, without naming names, you know many of the names because you're so close to Tamal Krishna, have similar profound feelings in their relationship with Tamal Krishna. I'm a small guy compared to those other great devotees. But he had a profound impact in serving Prabhupada's mission and caring in the way that we can care for people, for our leaders, and inspiring our leaders and encouraging them in various ways, probably giving them the sauce in various ways too, because that's part of his personality. And a great soldier in Prabhupada's army. So this is a disappearance day. I remember specifically the occasion of, at the end of the GBC meeting in Mayapur, and his fateful journey in a taxi, and he didn't make it to the other end. But Krishna took him in a way that Krishna took him, because Krishna had, I'm sure, some other service waiting for him. And here we are, with the gift of, in part, the seed of the idea and the development of the whole yatra in Texas, along with Houston, but the whole yatra in Texas was his base, his home. So I'm happy to be with you. Say some words that are meaningful to me, at least, in Tamal Krishna's service to Prabhupada's movement. And as you heard at the beginning, I've got a crazy busy day, so I'm going to pay my obeisances to all of you and to Tamal Krishna, and exit stage left. Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Tamal Krishna Maharaj ki or Pimalanti.
His Holiness Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Tamal Krishna Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much, Maharaj. So, now we have a senior most disciple, Jai Baldev Prabhu. So Jai Baldev Prabhu got initiated in 78, long time ago as a 78. End of 78. So he was what, 22-year-old? He was 22-year-old then. He's still a young man. No gray hair. Looks good.
It's time. Krishna Maharaj, Krishna Goswami, Krishna started with the nation, Bhakti, Vinod Swami, Tenami, and Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gauravani, Chana, Uses, Sumari, Vajradis, So, 78, I joined tail end of the famous Radha party, as Maharaj mentioned. And, of course, our Gurudev at that time was already left the Radha party, and he was serving Prabhupada in India just before he passed away. So I didn't meet him, but I heard, of course, I've heard many stories. And I'll tell you one story. Because Maharaj is talking about how heavy he is, but it's not in a mean way. And I'll tell you why. One time he was on the phone, and he was chastising one of the bus leaders, and he was yelling at him, and he was yelling at him, and then he was yelling at him, and then he yelled at him again. And then he hung up the phone, he turned to the other devotees that were in the room, and he just smiled and laughed and said, "That'll get him moving." So that's the way Gurudev was. He was heavy, but it was for a reason. He wanted to motivate you. So, we tell these stories about how Gurudev had me out, as Maharaj gave me the sauce. It was actually relishable. When it happened, not so relishable. But now you think about it, you remember those times. The first time I got the sauce, I'll tell you the first time I got the sauce. I became the treasurer in Houston Temple, and I was trained up by Shalagram Prabhu, who was the treasurer before me, and then he went to Dallas and became the treasurer up there. And he called me one day and said, he really wants us to give, $5,000 to the BBT. And he said, "Do you have the money now?" I said, "No." He said, "Okay, I'll call you later." Never called me again. Then when Gurudev came, and Panavijay was the temple president, he was in the room with Gurudev. He called me in, and Gurudev asked me, "Did you give the 5,000 to the BBT?" "No, Gurudev." And then the sauce hit me. It was like so heavy, I can't even remember what he said. After that, I can remember, but I was expecting it. It was the first time I got it. But at first, I could have said, "Well, Shalagram never called me back." But I didn't say that because I didn't want to, get him in trouble. So I just took the sauce. But afterwards, after it all happened, I was thinking I should have told him that Shalagram never called me back. But and after that, after I left, Panava told me this later. He said, after I left the room, he turned to Panava and said, "You think I was too heavy on Jai Baldev?" Panava said, "No, now he knows He's one of Gurudev's men. Right now, I miss the sauce. Shri Gurudev Ki Jai.
Thank you very much, Jai Baldev Prabhu. Now, Sarvabhauma Prabhu will speak.
It's hard to speak this for a short time, which I think we have. But I first saw Tamal Krishna Maharaj in a Bhakti article. It was about 1 year after Prabhupada left, and it was dedicated to memories of Prabhupada. And he had been Prabhupada's secretary during the last part of Prabhupada's physical stay on the planet. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you could see that he loved Srila Prabhupada. He just wanted to share Srila Prabhupada with other people. And later I got to hear that he was coming to Los Angeles where I was living. And I saw him at the temple. And I kind of got the sauce myself at that time. I wasn't ready for Krishna consciousness, but I was very impressed with his dedication to Srila Prabhupada and Prabhupada's mission. And then I ended up coming to Texas, to Dallas, with his permission, and I got to serve him. My wife wanted me to have a better relationship with him. So, and he started going to college, and he had a surgery in Dallas. He was getting a PhD in religious studies in England, planning to write his dissertation on Srila Prabhupada's contribution. So he got prostate cancer and had a surgery in Dallas, which interrupted his studies in England. But then when he went back to England, they needed some servants, so some people volunteered me to go. So he was very much a perfectionist, and I wasn't the most efficient disciple. So it was very demanding, but he was very kind, and he trained his disciples. Like there's many stories how he trained different devotees to cook. So he trained me to do some of the basic things that needed to be done. I made many mistakes. I got into a car. I was driving him and I got in an accident and hit a person on the bicycle. I had to cook. His cook, Gopal Raj, had to go back to India, so I had to cook for him. And he was very strict in trying to train me how to cook properly. But through it all, it was so purifying to be around such a great soul. I remember there was a book about the early days of ISKCON history called Radha Damodar Vilas, which told about great devotees, pioneers like Jayananda and Krishna Swami. And I was reading them while I was serving Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and he was in all these experiences with Vishnu Jan and Jayananda. So I just started to realize this is such a great soul. He's so close to Prabhupada. whatever he does turns out successful. Like he went to China when it was a totally communist country, no religion can be taught. He could not dress like a devotee, he had to dress like a businessman, go in secretly. And he went to the universities in China, and at one point the government was lightened up a little bit and they went to parks wearing dhotis and did kirtan and gave books to the Chinese. So he was just an amazing personality, and Srila Prabhupada never came physically to Houston. We have a beautiful temple here in community, and Tamal Krishna is largely responsible for this temple and so many devotees here. So I'm very grateful for what he's done for me. I haven't done much for him or for his spiritual master, but I feel forever honored to have met him and had some contact with him. So here's Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Ji Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sarvabhauma Prabhu. Sarvabhauma Prabhu has served Srila Gurudev very nicely, and he is just a humble devotee, but he has done service, a lot of service, and he still distributes books, go out. And thank you, Sarvabhauma. So now Kovera Prabhu will speak, and followed by Dwarkanath Prabhu.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastha Srimade Tamal Krishna Goswami Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastha Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Pashyata Desadare. So far we have heard about the Tamal Krishna Maharaj, like he was a very instructive, very hot. And the people used to come and call as a hot Tamal. Hot Tamal. He was hot like anything. The reason he told many times, because he cared for us. That's why he was getting it. He want to advance in our spiritual life. He want to help the way Prabhupada wanted ISKCON to progress us. He wanted us to go back to Godhead in this life. So always he was telling, whatever he is doing, I mean, to improve us, so we can make an advance in our spiritual life and try to go back to Godhead in this life. Few of the things I learned from him, very simple thing. Normally when we do the Aarti, and when we distribute the Aarti to other people, I remember in the old temple, after the Aarti, he called me and instruct me. When you go to Aarti, just don't do like a ritual. Let the person take proper Aarti and then go to the next person. Just show up and go. After that, when we hold flowers, normally people hold flowers like that, let the other people say, no, we hold the flower like this one. Otherwise, what happens? Sometimes our hair smells bad in this particular summer time. So we don't want to smell the perspiration. So, but he showed how to hold the flower and let the other person sing. When you sprinkle the water, make sure that it doesn't go on your glasses or on the ears. Just sprinkle a little bit, not like a Abhishek. We don't do Abhishek to other people. small interaction. He gave very nicely. I remember. What else? I mean, there are so many other things. He was so merciful actually. A couple of times when he was at my home, I mean, he showed us how to serve the devotees. No? When we serve the prasadam, don't fill up the plate just in the beginning. So what happens? Because we don't know what he likes and what doesn't like. So just serve small quantity in the beginning, and then you have opportunity of serving him later on. If you fill up the whole plate in the beginning, how you have opportunity of serving later on? there are so many instructions he has given small, but because he cared for us, he was getting hot to the people, and because he loves us, he was hot like a Tamal, but at the same time, we have seen so many times he was soft like a lotus flower. I mean, he was so mild, particularly we have seen the pastime of Kirtida Mataji. Anybody has observed this one, you can see how mild he was, just like a baby. I mean, he was serving the Kirtida Mataji like a little boy, and he was though he's a spiritual master. But if somebody walks in, nobody can say he was a spiritual master of Kirtida Mataji. Wonderful example, and I think Sarvabhauma Guru has explained very nicely in that book, The Servant of Love. Anyway, there's so many things about Prabhupada Maharaj, and we love him very much, and we remember from his instruction. He's still alive in his instruction, and we have to follow the instruction. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Kuvera Prabhu. Now, Dwarkanath Prabhu. Please try to make a short 3 minutes, so we can have all the devotees have time to speak, and followed by our temple president, Sarang Thakur Prabhu.
Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutala, Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Gurudev is kind of known as a lion guru. How he became a lion guru is from Prabhupada. Prabhupada has trained him such a way. He was the right hand man of the Srila Prabhupada. Anything that he wants, he always ready to do it. Like impossible thing that Prabhupada says is a fool's dictionary. And for performing these impossible things, he always depends on Srila Gurudev, Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami from the very beginning. Like they have to reopen the basis centers in China also, which is really impossible. And Prabhupada entrusted him to open that thing. He also entrusted him to buy the Mayapur land. It was so difficult job, I mean very, very difficult, but he did it. He gave for the Prabhupada, he didn't care how much he will take or what he will take. And he ready to do it. In the Bombay Jew temple lands, the dispute, it was so difficult. And he also again went to the courts and all those stuff, and he clearly did it. I remember before even I got my initiation, I got the first experience of his Lion Guru's things. I was coming for almost 9 to 10 years and I still hadn't taken initiation. I was serving the temple, I was serving the devotees, but I was still trying to maintain my independence. So he called me and he says, "What are you doing? You are coming here for 9 to 10 years. You are serving you are serving the temples, devotees, everyone, you are chanting. But why you are not surrendering? What holding you from surrendering? I know what is holding you from surrendering is because you don't want to give up your independence. But you know, without surrendering, without accepting Guru, without connecting to the Guru Parampara, there is no chance, there is no hope for you to get any progress in spiritual life. So, might as well you either hang up your head and do whatever you like to do material, or you surrender to me. Without surrendering, you cannot get any more progress. So if you surrender, you can also preach to the other Indians, also convince other Indians to come forward. At that time, nobody, we were only few Indians were coming, there was not much Indian. So I realized and I immediately opened my eyes, he opened my eyes with that. And I took the initiation back in 1984 with that, with Gazadhar Prabhu, and I took first initiation in Houston here. There are many things that there is no way you can describe his glory in detail. There's so much for him because he's for. I remember one instance when there was some discrepancy or disturbance in the Houston temple. They were following some others bhajans and they were singing all that. He specially came because he was loving all that to make sure that we are on right path. He specially came from Hong Kong just to give us an instruction that you need to follow the ISKCON rules and regulations. You cannot deviate from these things. So it is almost 22 years he has left, but we still miss him very much. We missed his the rousing kirtan that we used to perform when he used to come here visit. About half hour or 45 minutes, we had a very nice heart-rousing kirtan. When he comes here, we were jumping and we were in ecstasy. That's what I'm missing. We used to do the food bathing ceremony very nicely all the times, and that was intimate relationships. But he still gave us all this. He has left so much instruction and so much service that we have given us that we all remain still engaged to solve our Radha Madhava and all the deities. Without his instruction and without his inspiration, I don't know where we would have been right now. It is very difficult to understand. So, thank you very much, Srila Gurudev, for your mercy, and we pray that you bestow your mercy and we continue our service and we serve all the devotees and all the deities of the world constantly. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhu. So Sarang Thakur Prabhu will speak and followed by Saubhageshwari Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachacha Deshatar Vancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhabhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, is a unique personality, as many of his disciples and Maharaj shared. Because of his training and the guidance and the association that he had with Srila Prabhupada, he was able to use the same guidance and the training that he received from Srila Prabhupada to train his disciples and devotees across the world from different geographic and different demographic situations. His insight, his intelligence, and his association with Srila Prabhupada made him uniquely qualified and to train and give guidance to so many of the devotees across the world. And by as Gurudev mentioned in his the lecture that just was played, we can also, by taking the association of those devotees that served Srila Gurudev, we are having the good fortune to serve Shri Radha Nila Madhava and our community. This is a wonderful opportunity that we have received by the mercy of Srila Gurudev. And of course, and also Srila Gurudev mentioned association of devotees that are very dear to Guru is the best approach, our best way to gain, even though some of us may not have had enough association of Srila Gurudev in person, but we had the good fortune, and we are still having the good fortune to gain that association and gain of Gurudev, Srila Gurudev through his disciples. And another point that Srila Gurudev mentioned in his was that
with the absorption and the service to connect to Guru. Guru is the best way of gaining that association, and so that we can keep Srila Gurudev in our hearts and in our minds and among us for years to come by absorbing ourselves and by serving his vision and his mission especially to preach to the Western. That was his final instruction, to expand our preaching efforts to the Western community, and we are making sincere efforts for many years, and we are continuing to make those efforts to fulfill Srila Gurudev's vision and his mood, so that we can please him and Srila Prabhupada immensely. And Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gaura Premanande.
Thank you, Sir Thakur Prabhu. Shobhakeshwari Mataji will speak, and followed by Samsundar Prabhu. I was listening Jayapataka Maharaj this morning, and Maharaj was glorifying Gurudev by saying that, he said one time they were all in the room and Srila Prabhupada was just looking at the window, and everybody was just like thinking why Prabhupada is looking at the window. But Maharaj says that Tamal Krishna Maharaj says close the window. So he said that just by Prabhupada's eyes move, and he knows what needs to be done. So Jayapataka Maharaj was glorifying him like that.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept our respectful obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and you. Srila Gurudev, you have unparalleled loyalty, dedication, and firm conviction to Srila Prabhupada and his teachings. And you have inculcated the same in your disciples, by which we have the opportunity to learn and practice, imbibing your gravity and service attitude to please Srila Prabhupada. Once Indradyumna Maharaj asked you, what is the most important characteristic of a disciple? You immediately replied, Guru Nishtha, faith in the spiritual master. You embodied that faith, and it was your most endearing quality, Srila Gurudev. Phalena Parichyate, we are reaping the spiritual benefits here in Houston because of your endeavors. Projects that you envisioned years ago has manifested now by your sincere disciples. It seems like a miracle, and our ISKCON Houston shines as one of the leading communities in the US. Not just in terms of projects, but also in caring for the overall spiritual well-being of devotees as well as the newcomers. We have heard from many about your thunderbolt, saucy interactions, and also your soft, sweet nature, like when Mother Krishna Bhakti lost her son. Your empathetic, caring letters helped her come out of the grieving, and your investment plan to save money for Mother Bhakti Devi's retirement, and many, many more interactions. You displayed marvelous ability to preach in unknown dangerous places and situations like China and so on, and do impossible services like securing Mayapur land, etc. This quote of yours emulates the principle you followed. A good dancer does not blame the stage. A good cook does not blame the utensils. A good engineer does not blame the instruments. So a good preacher does not blame the field of his preaching. Our Guru Maharaj has placed us in the care of your disciples, essentially in your care. Because of the protection and support of this community, our devotional service is alive and nourished. Thank you for offering this community of yours in Houston as our home for practicing Krishna consciousness. You captured the minds and hearts of anyone who came in touch with you to devote their lives for Srila Prabhupada and his mission. I wondered many times, what was your magical charm? I can only conclude that it is your genuine care for the person, your surrender to Srila Prabhupada, and your service to the Vaishnavas. On this anniversary day where you ascended to reunite physically with Srila Srila Prabhupada to continue your eternal service unto him, we beg your blessings to do devotional service genuinely, so that we can also be used as instruments in Srila Prabhupada's mission. Thank you so much for everything, Maharaj. We never got an opportunity to see you physically, but we can see you through your disciples. So thank you for the shelter and your affection for us. Hare Krishna. Gratefully, your servants Damodar Sharandas and Shabakishan.
Thank you very much. Samson Babu will speak, and followed by the Sundari Radhika Mataji.
Namo Vaishnavadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Tamal Krishna Goswami Namine Namo Vaishnavadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. I always do the training, personal training that I received for a decade from Gurudev. One thing we can see that nothing was established drastically in Houston community when Gurudev was present. Gauranga Hall was built. But one thing I realized more and more, that when Guru gives the instructions, the potency to succeed that project comes with it. And whatever Gurudev has desired, I really want to congratulate all the devotees of Houston community that pleases the goal that Srila Gurudev has set for the Houston community. And everyone should be proud, because most of the development happened when Tamal Krishna Maharaj was not on this planet. So I think it's a great realization we should carry, that if we have the implicit faith in the instructions of Guru, and if we remain diligent to fulfill his desire, Krishna fulfill our desire. So also I would like to take that training that I used to send him a regular report about the community and the development on a regular basis. At the time there was no email or anything. I used to write 10-15 pages of report every quarter to Gurudev, explaining how the devotees are doing and how the different project is taking place. So on this auspicious day, I would like to bring to, for the pleasure of Gurudev, that we are gonna take 3 projects, and we beg your mercy that we would like to finish those at the end of 2025. One, we are building like a home caring, not the hospice center, but home caring facility. And I'm very proud to announce that one of the member, not the devotee, has pledged to build the facility from that family alone. So we will be working at the backyard of Nitya Kishore Mataji's to build that center. I have been in contact with Sangeeta Mataji. She is very, very happy to hear that somebody is working for the devotee care, and she is willing to offer all the help. We are also planning to build a 4-story apartment building next to the one. It will be 30 units, and it will be nicer than the first building. And we hope to finish that by also end of the 2025. And also we have seen that we still struggle sometimes to host the guest, even though we have a guest house, but it's some occupied by the devotees. So we will be building the 5 guest room on the lot that we divided 8 lots. 1 lot belongs to the temple. So we are working to build that guest house there, which will accommodate 5 devotees. So that's our goal, and I think for three principal things is Namaruchi, Vaishnava Sevas, and mercy to the other living being, Jivodaya. So I think there is an opportunity for all the devotees in this community. Rasikendra Prabhu has taken up the fundraising effort for the guest house. It will cost approximately $250,000, and I think this is the best opportunity that we can do. So whoever the guests come, they can have the nicer facility, and he will do some Vaishnava Seva. So he will be leading the project. So please assist him and spread the word around. We didn't ask for the money for the Brahmachari ashram. Temple took that on its own. So at least this is the opportunity. And for the apartment, we are not going to beg any donations. It will be done by the Houston Temple. So with those, Gurudev, please keep us at the dusk of your lotus feet, and please help us to achieve whatever you desire for the Houston community to enhance the operation as you desire. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sanjay. Sanjay Radhika Mataji will come, and then I request our long-time temple friend, Mr. Arun Kothari, to say a few words. He had also many time association with Srila Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for this opportunity to express my appreciation. Maharaj, you are one of the very few disciples of Srila Prabhupada who is favored by him and who had a lot of his association. From your disciples, I can see that you had perfect clarity on how the scripture applies to the practical life. You are not a fanatic, and at the same time, you were not lax in spiritual principles. In your offering to Srila Prabhupada on his disappearance day in 1997, you described a very nice comparison on how ISKCON is Srila Prabhupada's body. Among all, I really appreciated three things you mentioned. The worship of the deities is like massaging the heart of Srila Prabhupada. Serving the devotees is like the cooling touch of his lotus feet. And Sankirtan is his voracious appetite. I hope to serve Srila Prabhupada's body in the three ways you mentioned and urge for your mercy in doing so here in your temple. In the same context, you also gave a very instructive statement. Yes, ISKCON is Srila Prabhupada's body, which is a difficult truth to evade. I will concede that in some ways it suffers poor health, but nothing that cannot be remedied. If Prabhupada's body is ill, let us nurse it back to good health, not bury it under a mountain of salt. Please bestow upon us enough enthusiasm for the rest of our lives to take this statement to heart and work sincerely for ISKCON. Last but by no means the least, I am extremely grateful for all the affection and love that all of your disciples here bestowed upon us unconditionally. Although not much of my family is Krishna conscious, you have given me so many mothers and fathers here who take care of me on a daily basis. You have given us such a wonderful facility to practice Krishna consciousness and engage in Krishna's service. Your personal presence is felt in the guidance of your disciples. You are easily accessible to anybody who walks into this temple. Your mood pervades every area of Houston Temple, even after more than 20 years of your departure. I hope to capture that mood and continue to serve your servant, Sundari Radhika.
Hare Krishna, Pranam, and all my involvement with Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Am I too far? Yeah. Okay. I had many opportunities to get association with Guruji during the construction of everything that we have. And I can say in a small world, with the selection of the land where to lay out the temple, with different proposals, trying to have everybody's views. And then one day he said that no more further conversation. Everybody needs to have their vote, and whatever it comes, we will go and put the location. That's where we have a temple at the final location. I think we can see such a beautiful Krishna's temple. It would have never been possible without the full guidance and every details that he had gone through, including we had to send our architect who was visiting London to meet the Gurudev there and finalize the details. In association with him, I was lucky enough to have sit down, discuss, get his views, and when we were getting a little delayed and all that, he would come and pat on my back and say, it's all your fault. And he said, no, don't worry, I just was making a fun of that. But work hard. One thing I'll remember, and I think I like to pass on, that when we used to have the lunch at your Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Chaitanya Das, or wherever I had been associated at that time, Mataji will cut the lemon in circle. And when you press it, you can't get the juice out of it. He said, you Gujaratis don't understand that you have to cut it a long way so that you can squeeze very well. And such a details, minor things were all associated in that. And I think we can see the final result, the temple, that we all feel happy about it. A lot of details were provided by them. As far as I'm concerned, I've been blessed with his association, has given me the direction to my life, has made me a total dedicated devotee of Krishna consciousness, and on that basis, I can't say anything more than that. That's my whole life. Gurudev, I do appreciate and wants to say that without any hesitation. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Srinivas Prabhu will speak and followed by Nitya Kishori Mataji.
This time I would reflect upon what was Srila Prabhupada's relationship with His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And I came upon what Prabhupada spoke when Tamal Krishna Maharaj took sannyas. And he said, you are taking sannyas. It was January 18, 1972. And he said, this is the month of Magha and Shukla Paksha. And that is when Lord Chaitanya also took sannyas. The same period. So I thought that was very significant. Lord Chaitanya was 24 years old and Maharaj was 26 years old. And then Srila Prabhupada has said something very interesting. Anyone who has taken his birth as human being in the land of Bharatavarsha, Janma Sarthaka Kari Kara Para Upakar. So it was the duty of the Indians to take such sannyasa and preach the cult of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Unfortunately, they are packed up in a limited space. I am so much obliged to you that you American boys, you're taking sannyasa and preaching the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. So it was very significant. Prabhupada remembered Lord Chaitanya's sannyas, Tamal Krishna Maharaj's sannyas, and he said, I am so much obliged to you. So that was Prabhupada's, Maharaj was so dear to Srila Prabhupada. And then I came upon a letter Srila Prabhupada wrote to the postmaster in Vrindavan. And there he wrote, I authorize the postmaster of Vrindavana to deliver registered, insured articles, parcels and money orders addressed to me to my messenger, Sri Tamal Krishna Goswami, whose signature appears below. The main thing in this is Srila Prabhupada is calling Tamal Krishna Goswami as my messenger. And that's very significant if you see in the religious traditions, whether it's Muhammad or Jesus, messenger of God, and Prabhupada is here using my messenger. So I felt very fortunate to be here. And at a personal level for me, a few years ago I came across a little video of Maharaj insisting how important it is to get up early in the morning and chant your rounds. And when I came to Houston, it was, I'm so grateful to have a temple to be able to go to Mangalarti and everything. And the first thing when I come to the temple is, I pay my respects to Maharaj. And it's as little as that thing, but it has given me so much connection with him that I feel his presence in the temple, and it's so private moments in the morning, very few people are there, and I get to take some articles, whether it's lamp or water, and offer to him. And as Kuber Prabhu was saying, how Maharaj is particular where you put water, sometimes I see there's water on his face, so immediately I feel I go and wipe. And I feel that personal connection. And a few months ago, one day I was sleeping in the morning and I was a little tired, and when my body woke up, I said, maybe you need a little more sleep. So then I slept. After 5 minutes, then I had this vision of one person, why are you still sleeping? And then it was Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and I immediately got up. And it was scary that, then I felt he's here personally taking care of me. So this little connection, I cherish it very much. And that picture up there next to Prabhupada, it means a lot to me. So I am very grateful for Maharaj's mercy, and as my wife said, particularly to all the devotees. One of the things, there's a book called Good to Great. In that, the topmost leader, there are about 1,500 companies that did a survey, and topmost 11 companies that are at the top, and they interviewed all the CEOs, and they classified them as level 5 leaders, which means these are the people who actually build a culture. It's not about them, it's about a culture. And there is one sentence that describes them, which very much speaks to who Maharaj is. These level 5 leaders, they are incredibly ambitious, but their ambition is first and foremost for the cause, for the organization and its purpose, and not themselves. And that's what I see here, that the cause for which Maharaj has worked, it's instilled in all his disciples and everybody working in this organization, that it continues to grow. And that's a sign that the leader who trained you is a level 5 leader. So I'm very fortunate to be part of this community.
Thank you very much. Now Nityateshwari Mataji will speak, followed by our announcer for many years, Mr. Chirag Bhatt.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasaya Bhutale Shrimati Tamal Krishna Goswami. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pujani Nirvises. The first time I met Gurudev, he was in New York, leaving the temple early morning, not too early, about 7. So we came downstairs to chant and see him off, and he said, shh, don't be loud because people are still sleeping. So, and I think a year after we moved to Houston, and he saw us in the temple, and he said, we met before, and we keep saying, no, no Gurudev, no Gurudev, and then he said, yes. And then afterwards, we remember that we were in New York and he saw us and he remembered. And one thing I liked when we moved here, he used to visit a lot and go to all the devotees' house for lunch. And he would make sure that everybody is included. We would go sit with him and have lunch, while the ladies would serve and the husband would sit with him. So that was very good. Another thing I remember is that I know he have his heavy side, but whenever something happened and my Guru Maharaj comes, I would describe, this happened, Tamal Krishna Maharaj did this. And my Guru Maharaj would listen and smile, and he would say, look at me and said, don't try to read the minds of a Vaishnava. So that was, I realized I didn't understand so many things about him. And my Guru Maharaj said, everyone would say that Tamal Krishna Maharaj is heavy, but I never experienced that heavy side. He said that one time they had breakfast in LA, and I think my god sister was preparing the breakfast, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very upset with them. And he was saying, this is not good. And he was chastising everyone. And when my Guru Maharaj walked in the room, he was like quiet and pretend like nothing happened. And I remember myself and Guru Bhakti went to India when he passed away. And Guru Bhakti was really devastated, and she didn't know where to go or who to meet. So she said, can we go to your Guru Maharaj room? Guru Bhakti, did you remember? So we went there, and my Guru Maharaj was speechless. He was like, he couldn't say anything. He was like quiet for a while. And then he said to Guru Bhakti that, I think it took a while, and then he started speaking. He said that in the GBC meeting, there was one red chair, and that chair was left alone, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj would come and sit there every day. And no one would want to sit in that chair. And my Guru Maharaj happened to sit next to him. And he would like squeeze his hand and under the chair, and they would just have their own time. And one time the GBC had to say quiet, like tell him to be quiet. So my Guru Maharaj said, Tamal Krishna Maharaj whispered to my Guru Maharaj and said, if anyone come to sit next to me, tell them we have something to discuss and make sure that chair is always there for you. So I think my spiritual master had a very good, he said, I never see the bad side or the heavy side or the side that people would talk about. So I think we are very fortunate to have him. He would remember everyone that come in the temple, like every face. One time my dad was visiting, and he asked, who is that person in the whole Sunday feast or something. So I think his memory is very good, and he was very careful to make sure everyone gets some association and attention. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Chirag Bhai will speak, followed by Hariwala Prabhu.
Haribol. I was not planning to speak, but and I didn't prepare anything as well. But I think most of you know that Srila Gurudev was very near and dear to not only myself, but my family, especially my wife, because he would always remind me how better Yamini is than I am. And I will always remember Gurudev for that. I've had a wonderful opportunity to spare some time and spend some time with Srila Gurudev. Lunch because of my service, what I was doing, and quite a few occasions. And again, many times I saw Gurudev being happy, as Nitya Kishori Mataji was saying, but nothing personally towards me, other than the sarcasm a little bit, jokes a little bit. You know, he would ask me how many rounds I do, and then he'll remind me how many more Yamin is doing. Every time this happened, every time we had lunch at Chaitanya Prabhu's house, he would make sure that I eat at least 2 or 3 more chapatis that Draupadi Mataji made. Very loving, very kind, very disciplined. I am who I am, not only because of Srila Gurudev, but all of his disciples that are here encouraging me. I've had many dreams with Srila Gurudev, including one not too long ago. But the one dream that I'm still waiting for is, you know, because of my longevity of doing this services with the temple, I get so many people make comments about the good service or the wonderful work that I'm doing for the temple. And I hear that not only from visiting Maharajas and speakers and Vaishnavas, but I also hear it from many of you here. And the encouragement keeps me going. However, I did never hear that from Srila Gurudev. So maybe one day I'll have that dream and Srila Gurudev will say, "Good job, Chirag. Keep it up, but don't do this." And I'll be ready for it. Thank you so much, Srila Gurudev.
Thank you, Chirag. Harivalda Prabhu will speak. And then followed by Radha Krishna Prabhu. But before Radha Krishna Prabhu speak, if any one of you would like to speak. Manasi wants to speak? Your name was crossed off.
One of my half-sisters wants to hear from me.
All right, okay. So after Harivalda Prabhu, Mansi Ganga will speak, followed by Radha Krishna Prabhu. So we are on time. Now it all depends upon how long these guys take.
Namo Vishnu Krishna Tamal Krishna Prabhupada Shishavaraya Namo Natarana Mahaprabhu Bhakti Tatyakarani Namo Vishnu Krishna Tamal Namaste Sarvadeve Gaurana Kacharani Vishesha Pastor Krishna Vanchakalpatrupasya Pasundar Patana Pavana Vishnu Namo Namaha. Sri Gurudev is heavy to many people, but he was very kind to me. I didn't have any help. The only time he thought was that he did not see me in dhotis. I used to come from hospital, so I gave the excuse. So he said, okay. And when he met my wife, and he said, she's a very fast lady, don't be hard on her, just leave her alone. So those are the 2 things he said. My wife has recently left. I know the philosophy. Then body and soul contains boxes in this body from youth to old age, simply soul is and goes to another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. I know the philosophy, how it is. It still hurts. And to lament for person who lived with me for 52 years. I think it is, even not even with our philosophy, it will be heartless if I don't do it. And the devotees of our ISKCON of Houston were so kind and merciful for me to tide over this crisis. And I'm very extremely grateful. My wife passed on ISKCON day, and with the garlands of the deities on her body, the tulsi leaves, Ganga, Radhatun water, Vedam dust on her body, with Bhagavad-gita in one hand, and one hand I held, and was chanting the holy names, and with the Prabhupadas chanting in the background. So she went very auspiciously. That was only possible because of the kind mercies of Hare Krishna devotees, and especially all the senior devotees, and Saranta Prabhu and Sri Mataji, Chaitanya Prabhu, Shamsana Prabhu, Jamala Mataji, Guru Bhakti Mataji, Radha Krishna Prabhu, and everybody else who came and chanted, and I saw that she went in a Krishna conscious way. For my part, I had to planning to come closer to the temple to serve devotees and the deities, and I want to start the silent Sankirtan projects more seriously. On your first Tirobhava occasion, I gave the Hare Krishna lessons for 8 hymns to all the devotees, but my dream is to distribute to all the congregation members all over, and other projects of distribution of Krishna conscious material all through, and thus please you. That is my request. Kindly bless me to pursue this my limited service. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare. Okay, Mansi, you are on the list.
I am now. Where's my bad sister Ganga? Because she wants to hear. Oh, there she is. My sister Ganga wanted to hear from you today, so here I am. Actually, for me, this is a very sad festival because obviously I was leaving his body, because I think everybody, or at least every God sibling of mine, probably knows where they were the day that he left his body. I happened to be in the Williams Tower on the 32nd floor when I get a frantic phone call from a devotee. Do you know your guru's dead? Do you know that your guru is dead? And so can you imagine the shock to get at that time? But anyways, I don't remember anything else other than I had deadlines and I couldn't leave my office, so I had to stay throughout the day. But I have the least pastimes with Gurudev because obviously I'm the most junior, everybody knows. But there's one little pastime that I remember that I thought I would share. And that's after my initiation, he stayed in Guru Bhakti's house when he did my initiation. And a few days later, Guru Bhakti comes running to me, and then she gives me a little piece of paper, and I said, "What is this?" So then I look at the paper, and it was instructions on the side effects of a drug prescription of a drug. And I'm going, "What is?" Anyways, this is not the actual paper, but I brought it so that you can see, right, how a paper looks with the instructions of the do's and don'ts and the side effects of a drug, right? Well, Gurudev had actually written my initiated name wherever there was a little black space, And he had written every single God brother and God sister of mine who got initiated that day on wherever he found a little blank space. And so I just wanted to highlight how practical he was. He could have easily have said, Guru Bhakti, bring me some pads or bring me some paper. But he was so practical that, he did whatever he needed to do to accomplish whatever he needed to accomplish. And that's my only pastime today. All right? Hare Krishna.
So now we'll finish with Radha Krishna Prabhu unless Mother Paduli change her mind. Hare Krishna. So after Radha Krishna Prabhu finish, we will do the Pushpanjali and then we'll have Aarti and Prasad.
Hare Krishna. Normally I don't like to speak on the Disappearance Day, mainly because both myself and Chaitanya, we were there when our Guru Maharaj passed and we witnessed the body, and it has been very difficult. Usually I avoid today. So when they were making the list, I said put my name at the end so that if everyone speaks then there won't be enough time. So, but a few devotees dropped out today, so therefore, yeah. Yeah, so a lot of devotees were saying they got the sauce, yeah. So I was practically dipped in the sauce, bathing in the sauce, swimming in the sauce, yeah. So that's how it was, my service to my spiritual master. He had a preternatural ability to speak, to see logically, and to come up with amazing ways of defining and coming with a solution. So, and anyway, he's a genius, the way I see it. I lived with him 24/7 for almost 3 to 4 years, daily. So, I have to get up before he gets up, and I sleep after he goes to bed. Sometimes when he has a meeting and I'm waiting for him to get ready, I will nod off because I'm so tired, and then all of a sudden I'll feel someone kicking me, And then I'll wake up and then my Guru might say, what are you doing? Your Guru hasn't slept and you're sleeping? So it was hilarious in that way. And so after a few years of being with him, one day he came up to me and said, Radha Krishna, you're a failure. After all this training, you can't be trained at all. So now I looked at him and said, yes, Gurudev, I'm a failure. Then he looked at me again and said, get up from here. And then he walked away. That's how it was. And then there another time, this was in 1998. He was planning his graduation thing. So he told my god sister Neela Madhava to plan, and then he told me, you go downstairs, you check and make sure things are okay, and if not, you see, tell me what you think. So I went down, I discussed a little bit, then I thought, okay, this should be different, so I came up to him, and then I said, this is what they're planning, and this is what it is, but I don't think this is a good idea, I suggest this way. Then he said, let me think. Then he said, no, do this way and this way. So he said, do A, B, C, this. And I said, but Gurudev, if you do this is a situation. So then he looked at me, he walked close to me and said, Prabhupada trained me, so you don't train me. Already been trained. So I looked at him, I started just laughing, because it was funny what he said, And then the last two things mainly about banishment. This was in 1995, after the GBC meeting. At that time, my Guru Maharaj was focusing on certain aspects of devotional practices. So, but it so happened that he also was taking, or rather he was familiarizing himself with Gaudiya Math Sannyas. but it wasn't so much favorably seen by the GBC at that time, and they had their reasons. So during the meeting, they were chastising him and so on and so forth. So I was sitting in my small table in Mayapur. Everything is a bit small. So whilst I was doing my work, suddenly the door opened, front door opened, and then he walks in, and then he's walking straight into his room. As he passed, I was paying obeisances, and then as he passed, he said, "Come with me." So I got up and I followed him to his room, and he took his top, the sannyas thing, right? He took up the top and then he put it on his chair. He came up to me and said, "All I was doing is trying to, help this movement. I was trying to learn and then help everyone here. Can't they see what I'm trying to do?" Then I didn't know what to say, right? So I just looked at him, and then he said, "Whatever happens, you don't go against the GBC." And then he said, "You don't go against any authority in ISKCON. Do you understand?" And then I was like, okay, And this he has said to me many times over the years. He always emphasized to me, because he himself was showing the importance of working in cooperation, and therefore you don't rock the boat, as they say. So it's inculcated in my heart. So I always think about that in any situation. Whether he also said, whether the GBC is wrong or not, you just follow. And then he said, you will be protected. Yeah. So for me, that's very important for me. And then the last incident that happened I want to share is that he once told me about a certain group of people not working together and so on. So then he said, whatever happens, he said, even if you know something 100% and you know how to do it, he said, it doesn't matter. If the others disagree with you, you somehow have to work with them. And if you all work together and cooperate, and if you only accomplish 60%, that's okay. Krishna is more pleased if you're cooperating, and if you push your own agenda and get 100%, Krishna is not happy with you. That's what he said. So that was an impact in my life, and I always try to see that and try to balance my life with those instructions. Anyway, there's so many instructions because I was fortunate enough to be with him for many years, and India. So thank you very much. Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Thank you, Krishna Prabhu. We have just one more person. I will request Kamal Mukha Prabhu to speak something, and then we'll do Pushpanjali. Harilila Prabhu will lead the Pushpanjali.
I'll be very quick. I want to respect Chaitanya Prabhu. He asked me to speak. When I was a student first coming to ISKCON and they're talking about initiation, so I was looking for guru, so I was thinking I have to pick someone who is the top and close to Srila Prabhupada. But Goswami Maharaj was not coming to Bangladesh, and my Guru Maharaj often visit. Mukticharu Swami Maharaj visit. So I went to Mayapur. First time I went to Mayapur in '98. That time I had Gurudev's darshan, and I liked his appearance, and he was very great. And after that, in '98, I had I have to say it was my good fortune to do some service for Maharaj. And Radha Krishna Prabhu engaged me, and that year I met Chaitanya Prabhu, Draupadi Mataji. And first time I came to know Gujarati Prasadam, they are cooking every day for Maharaj. Also several other devotees, Kamadhenu Mataji, Durashai Prabhu there, and your godbrother Ramachandra Prabhu were there. So So after the 2 weeks of, our work was mainly do some translation for Maharaj. From Srila Prabhupada's audio cassettes of his final days, final 15 days. So Ramchandra Prabhu did the Hindi part, I did the Bengali part, any conversation in those cassettes. So when I was living Dallas, that time I lived in Nithalavan. So Maharaj said, I want you to visit my temple, Houston. And I said, Maharaj, I have deity service, I have to go back to Nithalavan. And Maharaj said, no, I'll pay your ticket, don't worry. So I feel like my being here, my family being here, it is the word of a pure devotee. He said, I want you to visit my temple in Houston. So the way I see Maharaj is through his disciples, because I didn't have much association with Maharaj, but I think I have to say this, when Hurricane Katrina came in New Orleans, Krishna Kripa Prabhu came to rescue me with a truck, 26 feet long truck. And Gopinath Prabhu gave me I think later I found out that dolly was from Gopinath Prabhu's house, so I returned it after some time. Of course, in Houston, many times I went to Guru Bhakti Mataji for medical care. Now Gopinath Prabhu is helping always with computer help. Shyam Sundar Prabhu used to give me all these leftover bhogas, so okay, come and take for New Orleans temple. I used to come here for grocery run for New Orleans temple those days. I would always get some extra donation, whatever he could not use here, and then he said to take it to. So in this way, I just feel like, the way the Shastra says that a tree can be known by his fruits. So that's how I always think, and I always aspire to be the followers of Goswami Maharaj, to be their servant. This day I would like to, this is my prayer to Maharaj, that the conviction he had to surrender his life to Srila Prabhupada, Maharaj could share a little bit for me, so that I can also be a part of this, this mission, Krishna consciousness mission, and serve Prabhupada and serve ISKCON and serve the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. And we have one more cassette. His Grace Vatsal Prabhu. He is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he was busy, but still he took out some time and came here, so we appreciate it. So he will speak something, and he will also lead a kirtan. He is an excellent kirtanier. Thank you for coming, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Jai. So, His Grace Tamal Krishna Goswami, certainly a leader. Leaders are very often controversial figures. And to me, Maharaj was kind of like a chutney. He could be very sweet and he could be very spicy. And unfortunately, I've had both of those, or experienced both of those manifestations of Maharaj. But I like to dwell on the sweet part. And I think I've told this before, probably here, but I was in Hong Kong for about a year over there in the Orient and Philippines for a couple of years, then Hong Kong. And at one point, Maharaj took over the GBC ship of that area because it was the previous GBC had some problems. And so, do you ever hear of this devotee, Hanuman Das? Do you ever know what happened to him? Yeah, Chinese. Is he still around? Or? he was the first Chinese disciple of Maharaj that came when I was the president there in the Hong Kong temple. And he was a nice young boy. But anyway, so yeah, one time Maharaj was there and he had to go to Taiwan. I forget why he went there. I think it was some preaching thing that he went there, and so I went with him. So we went together for a week, and we stayed in a hotel together, the same hotel room. And it was a very nice experience, because it was the first time I had that close association with a sannyasi. Of course, I was a householder anyway, but first time I had that close association. And so, you know, I said, well, I'll take this opportunity and serve Maharaj in some way. I used to make his bed every day while he was, you know, and stuff like that. And I'd go out and get the boga, and I'd bring it back. And he had a 3-tiered pot, like Prabhupada used to cook it, and he'd cook. And it was a very, anyway, it was more like a God-brother relationship than GBC and rank and file or any, you know, it was a little, he was a sannyasi and I was a householder, so that was there, but it was still more of a very sweet time that I can always dwell on Maharaj's association in that way. Yeah, that was a good time. Anyway, Maharaj was certainly a very, as I've heard some members here say, a dedicated disciple of Srila Prabhupada. There's no doubt about that. And he would be very, to me, in my mind, he would be very pleased at what's developed here in Houston, because Texas and Houston was a big project for him. And, you know, he would be very pleased. I mean, anybody would be. I'm sure all the devotees here, if they look at what's manifested itself in the temple, this Garanga Hall, all of this facility that the devotees have worked hard and to manifest, it is very pleasing. Now we have to manifest that love in our heart for Krishna, and understand that Krishna is everything. We were just reading today in the Chanting Hare Krishna book where Prabhupada says this is the fulfillment of devotional service, understanding that Krishna is everything. So I believe that Maharaj understood that, and he tried to explain that to everyone that he met in his life. And that's the perfection of our life, is to carry on that mission. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Master Prabhu. Now Hare Leela Prabhu will do Pushpanjali. We have a 2-line, one for Mataji, one for Prabhu.
One line for Mataji, one line for Prabhuji. They get cattle, and please recite the prayers after me. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnana Salakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलम् श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं हरिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दैत्याय कृपाब्दये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्यो उज्ज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्री रूपनुगा भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपनुगा विरुद्ध सिद्धांत ध्वांतहारिणे नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्य मूर्तये विप्रलंबर संबोधे पदाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरी शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपनुगावराय ते गौर आविर्भाव भूमिस्त्वं निर्देष्ट सज्जन प्रिय वैष्णव भार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णया कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्से नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यां नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतो पंगु
मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्बोजो राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्यानवृन्दारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नाकार सिंहासनोस्थो श्रीमद्राधा शील गोविंद देवो कृष्णालिभि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमद्रासरसारम्भे कर्षण वेणु स्वनिर गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीयस्तु तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी सभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते तमाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी नीति नामिने His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Tirubhakti ki Hare Krishna. Krishna, there was one bowl and jalebi was offered to Srila Gurudev. We are looking for that bowl. If anybody has it, please return to us because that's Srila Gurudev's personal bowl. Unless you want a sauce.
Every day for the rest of your life. Sri Guru Charana. Sati Devi Gauragane Pracharine Devi Shesha Shringavari Vashtachade Siddharite Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari